Binance has just been sued by the SEC, and I know what you're thinking. Hasn't this happened before? But no, this is a big one, and let's go through exactly what's happening, and I'll tell you what I think of what's going to happen at the end of the episode. First off, bonus points if anyone can spot where on the chart they think that the Binance lawsuit was first announced. Anyone? Anyone at all? Anyone? All right, let's go through this 155-page complaint line by line, and we will read it together. And I'm going to give you each and every meaning of every single word. We're even going to break down the roots of the words in Latin, and we're going to tell you what they meant thousands of years ago. No, we're just going to go through Twitter threads. This covers all Binance, Binance US, CZ, and all his entities. The lawsuit claims that he was aware of the rules and avoided registration. This one is debatable. I agree. This one's not going to stick very well because the rules are very unclear. However, they did include this absolutely legendary quote in here, which apparently the chief compliance officer told CZ at one point in December 2018, "We are operating an effing unlicensed securities exchange in the USA, bro." I don't know whether that's the way they're going to try to pin this one on him. They call out BNB, Simple Earn, BNB Vault, and the US platforms as investment schemes. This will be a slam dunk for them. They claim that they are intermingling US and international entities, which gives the US nexus exposure to their international entity and employees. Effectively, what they're trying to do is get access to Big Papa Binance because Binance US is absolutely tiny compared to the big Binance platform. So in the lawsuit, they claim that members of the Binance team actually helped US customers, the super high value ones, circumvent the rules that were kicking off US customers in 2019. Again, we'll see how much this sticks. Usually this stuff is done in a fairly discreet way. We will find out whether, official Binance email addresses were actually being used to help US customers. That's stuff that we don't know yet. But again, this one feels pretty flimsy. Now, here's where it gets kind of spicy. We have claims that CZ moved billions of dollars worth of assets into Merit Peak, an entity he controlled in the US, and then transferred those assets to third parties, very similar to what SBF had done. I believe part of this claim is that that entity actually bought a yacht. And of course, they're showing a picture of Sam Trabucco, who was one of the executives at Alameda. Now, here is an interesting one. They're claiming that an entity that CZ owned and controlled was actually wash trading on the platform. That could actually become quite sticky. But again, rules and regulations around crypto are so confusing, and there's no real wash trading rule. I think, again, this is just more noise in the lawsuit. Where it could get quite interesting is if they do refer this to the DOJ. The DOJ is where you get real criminal charges, whereas the SEC is mostly fines and slaps on the wrist. And I'll tell you exactly how Binance is already responding to this. It's also worth noting that they named a bunch of tokens in this lawsuit, including Solana, Cardano, Polygon, Filecoin, Cosmos, Sandbox, Decentraland, Algorand, Axie Infinity, and Coty. It's all so tiresome. All right, let's get to the fun stuff. This is what Binance said in reply. First off, they start off by being very disappointed. Oof size, tremendous. They said that from the start, they are actively cooperating with the SEC's investigations and have worked hard to answer their questions and addressed all their concerns. Most recently, they've engaged in extensive good faith discussions and reached a negotiated settlement to resolve their investigations. They state their intent to defend their platform vigorously. This is the part that the SEC is going to have trouble with, because much like Ripple, Binance has absolutely limitless funds to defend itself in court, and it will use those funds to do so. And what will happen is years of protracted litigation, and this is where the SEC effectively gets caught up. With these big high-profile lawsuits, it simply is in a place where it has to create some kind of result. And if the defendant keeps litigating and litigating and litigating, eventually the SEC will have to keep dedicating more and more resources to it until it's kind of tapped out. And that's what's going on with Ripple. It's kind of fighting a bunch of wars all at once. And this Binance war, if Binance chooses to defend itself vigorously, as they say, could effectively tap the SEC for a significant chunk of its resources. All right, let's get back to this because Binance starts to get very spicy here. And they say, perhaps most surprising, the SEC's actions undermine America's role as a global hub for financial innovation and leadership. Digital asset laws remain largely underdeveloped in much of the world, and regulation by enforcement is not the best path forward. An effective regulatory framework demands collaborative, transparent, and thoughtful policy engagement, a path the SEC has abandoned. To be clear, allegations that users' assets on the Binance US platform have ever been at risk are simply wrong. There is zero justification for the staff's actions in light of the ample time the staff had to conduct their investigations. All user assets on Binance and Binance affiliated platforms, including Binance US, are safe and secure. We will vigorously defend any allegations to the contrary. It seems, based on these developments, that the SEC's goal here was never to protect investors. If that were ever truly the case, the staff would have come and thoughtfully engaged with us on the facts and our efforts to demonstrate the safety and security of the Binance.US platform. The SEC's real intent here instead appears to be to make headlines. Now, this, my friends, is a spicy response, and it really just shows you that Binance is drawing a firm line in the sand, saying we won't be bullied. And if you really, really wanted what was good for investors, your supposed mission, then you would have done things differently. In the end, we know for a fact that protecting investors doesn't seem to be the first, second, or third thing on the SEC's mind, and that creating a regulatory framework that would rein in this regulator is effectively the only path forward for crypto in the United States. In the end, Binance has made it clear. They're going to fight, and they're going to make this lawsuit a very long and protracted nightmare for the SEC. Let's be honest, this is going to end in a settlement. It's going to end like every other SEC lawsuit with a major player in the crypto space, with litigation that goes on and on and on, and eventually a settlement. And so this sell-off, this FUD that you see being sold off, to me is yet another example of probably a good opportunity. Again, I've started buying in little by little, and days like today where we see major dumps, I'll be buying a little bit more. Again, my strategy is to dollar cost average. I don't know if we're gonna see the Great Depression times 10 over the next year or two. I don't know if we're gonna see a soft landing, hard landing, no landing. Maybe landings don't even exist, yo. The point is, when the chart is bloody red over the next few months, I'm going to be doing my best to get little bits of more coins, and that's my simple DCA strategy. Again, the markets have been pretty stagnant, pretty sideways, and usually when a big piece of news drops like this, some insiders already knew it was coming, and they're prepared to dump it hard and short it. And so I'm not convinced that this dump is very sincere or people are genuinely worried about Binance. In the end, I'm going to keep accumulating. That's my strategy. As always, if you enjoyed these videos and you also enjoyed Binance's spicy response to the SEC, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and make sure you check out this video. It's even better than the one you just watched, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.